This is Grandpa Barry with today's almost heartwarming story. Today's story, The Secret Santa. The Secret Santa. Bob Tinley lived alone in a small apartment at the edge of town. He rarely went out, except to go to his job as a file clerk in a large office. He never called in sick or took a vacation. Bob didn't have many friends. Usually, he'd spend his weekends at home, doing laundry or cooking himself dinner. After dinner, you could find him watching television. He particularly enjoyed old movies with happy endings. Some might call Bob's life dull, but it seemed right for him. He never married and never even had a girlfriend. But that was okay with Bob. He had no real desire to change anything about his life. He certainly wasn't flashy, but Bob did have one hobby he enjoyed spending his money on. Every Christmas Eve, Bob did something that gave him great pleasure. He was a secret Santa. Bob would give away 20 envelopes, each with a $100 bill, to random residents that night. Before they could even open the envelope, Bob would drive away. After all, he wasn't doing it to be thanked, but just because it gave him a warm feeling to know that he'd helped someone. Often he would hand an envelope to a single mother working the late shift at a fast food restaurant, or to a janitor in an office building, or to an elderly man waiting for a bus in the cold. Because it was dark and Bob didn't stick around for conversation, no one knew who the Secret Santa was. One Christmas Eve, it was snowing when Bob made his rounds. He had already given away all his envelopes except for one. Then he saw a young girl, probably no older than 18, walking through the freezing, empty streets. He rolled down his window and handed her the final $100 envelope. But before Bob could drive away, 2 police cars blocked his exit. "Where do you think you're going, you old pervert?" barked one officer. "Get out of the car and put your hands up," commanded another. You see, the girl was a prostitute, and Bob was arrested for soliciting. He tried to tell the officers he was really the Secret Santa, but they chuckled and put handcuffs on him. Eventually, his mugshot wound up in the town newspaper, and Bob lost his job. He also was evicted from his apartment. The moral of the story: if you're going to give away money to a young girl who's wearing fishnet stockings, 5-inch heels, and too much makeup, make sure there are no cops around.